Welcome back to Half the Battle. I'm your host as always, Daniel Levi, and joining me now is the man challenging for the Titan FC lightweight belt November 17th live on UFC Fight Pass. I'm talking about Chazz Walton. Chazz, welcome back to Half the Battle.
Hey man, thanks for having me back. It's always a pleasure.
Oh man, the pleasure's all mine. So dude, you've had quite the year. You haven't fought in about a year. You've been dealing with stuff outside the cage, but now you got the biggest opportunity of your life. I mean, what was it like when you got that call that, hey man, you're not just fighting for the Titan FC belt, you're fighting live on UFC Fight Pass?
Man, honestly, to me, it's just another fight. It's an extra 2 rounds. But I was already mentally prepared for a fight, and my opponent backed out for whatever reason, and so mentally I was already prepared for a really tough fight. And when that fight fell through, I just kept my faith. I didn't get discouraged, and within 2 days I had a bigger, better opportunity. And honestly, I'm blessed. I'm excited. It's an amazing opportunity to fight on a stage like that, and amongst other fighters at that level. And I think that it's a next step for me. As far as being off a year, I'm not someone who believes in ring rust. And if you've seen my fights, I don't think I've been in there long enough to even develop ring comfort. So, I'm not really worried about, being rusty or having that layoff. It's just been more time for me to get better and stronger and hone in my skills. And, yeah.
So, you went 7-0 as an amateur, you're 5-0 as a pro with 5 first-round finishes, and you have a lot of experience in those 5 fights. You fought in Legacy, you knocked out an opponent in 7 seconds in front of Dana White. Do you feel like that kind of experience is what's going to lead you and aid you to a victory here against a very experienced opponent?
Oh, definitely, man. Fighting on Fight Pass is cool, but I fought on TV twice. Like you said, I fought in front of Dana White, short notice fight at a higher weight class. I believe I had about 2.5 weeks notice for that fight. So, there's always pressure. The pressure is what helps me perform. I embrace that. But honestly, I feel like I've fought under more pressure than I'm under this fight, if that makes sense.
No, 100% it makes sense. And last time we spoke, your wife was pregnant with your first child, and since then, obviously, he was born. You have a healthy, beautiful baby. And look, you've always been a really motivated guy, but has it added any extra incentive having, such a blessing in your life with Lucas Gray?
To an extent. It's like his birthday is actually the day after my fight, so I want to bring him a belt wrapped up with a bow on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is definitely some motivation drawn from that. But he's so young, he doesn't understand any of what's going on, and he's gonna love me regardless of anything that happens in there. So while it's motivating, it's also awesome just to have such a little knucklehead running around here keeping me focused.
I mean, what's it like, man? Because I know you're a kid at heart, so to have a little mini-me walking around, I mean, it must be a real humbling, surreal experience.
It's amazing. It really has put a lot of things in perspective for me, and it's just been such an eye-opening, humbling experience, and he's honestly such a blessing, man. He's really helping me become a little more centered in life, and it's awesome. It's just every bit of it is awesome. Having a kid comes with its challenges, especially that first year if you're trying to get in a camp and get your fight schedule going. And, I daytime dad, so doing that and training is obviously presents its challenges just like it would for anyone. But it's great, man. I love it.
So, man, for this camp, you've put in a lot of work with some really tough competition. I mean, you've been working with guys like Jordan Rinaldi, and most recently, you actually got asked to come in and spar with Platinum Mike Perry. What was that experience like?
Oh, man. Those guys down there, Mike's an animal, bro. All of those Florida boys are are animals. They should never be underestimated. Mike has the power that you see. It's no fluke. The man hits hard. Even sparring light, it was a very competitive couple of rounds that we did. We didn't really go super hard because he still had stitches in his mouth, but I was able to get some grappling in with him and get a few sparring rounds and just move around with those guys. It was awesome. Yeah.
Chazz, I know what happens in the gym stays in the gym, but just for the fans, can you give us a little glimpse of what it was like sparring with Platinum Mike Perry?
It was terrifying. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't like to say whether one person did better than the other or whatever. We're just kind of trying to learn from each other and get better. That's the whole reason I was there. So but he's a scary dude, man. Anybody that gets a face tattoo, you should be worried about throwing punches at you.
Well, man, you've been training with a guy like that. You've also had Jordan Rinaldi. I know he's been helping out with your grappling. So you must feel like you're more than ready to take on this guy, Raush Manfio.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely ready. I do believe having tough guys around you helps you get better, but I also don't believe it's a necessity. If you look at some of the best fighters in the world, they just come out of those little hole-in-the-wall gyms, just like I train at, and they go mix it up with other guys at other gyms when they're in camp, and they just stay at their gym and hone their skills in the meantime.
I'm really glad you brought that up, Chazz, because you're a very loyal guy, and you have a coach named Johnny Dunn, and I mean, this is the kind of guy that he comes over to your house. You guys put in work in your garage. You know what I mean? But he's only your coach. Can you tell me about the relationship you have with Coach Johnny?
Oh, man, I love Johnny, man. He has never charged me a dime for anything that he's done. He's never asked me for anything. He just believes in me to the fullest, and he just wants to invest in me and give me the skills to make it to the top. We've joked a few times because he is getting older, and I'm hitting harder these days that his shoulders might not be able to handle it much longer. But no, he's awesome. Whether it's fight camp or whether I'm just looking for advice, he's a great dude. He works hard. He has a kid, so he completely understands how the grind goes. But yeah, we've been together for years. I think since I was an amateur, and yeah, he's top of the line, man. Everything he teaches me, I teach my students. So it's one of those things. He's basically Mr. Miyagi, and I'm Daniel's son.
No, it's incredible because, I mean, you guys have such a bond, and, he believes in you so much. You believe in his style so much. It's incredible. His parents are actually Thai, so, I mean, he comes straight from the lineage. It must be incredible having a guy like that have your back.
Oh, no doubt. And, he's got black belts in multiple martial arts. He has tons of Muay Thai experience training in Thailand, living in Thailand. So it's great because, he can give me a lot of aspects of my game that I favor, the traditional side of striking as well as the grimy side, the Thai.
So, Chazz, obviously in your pro career, 5 wins, 5 first-round finishes. Now, on paper, you're getting a step up in competition. You're taking on Raush Manfio. He's 9-2. He's a short, stocky Brazilian. He likes to throw big bombs on the feet. I would assume he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. How do you feel about this matchup?
I feel good, man. I've watched him fight. He's definitely a tough cat. It's obvious the things that he likes to do, and it's obvious the things he doesn't like to do. And, we're taking all those things into account for this fight, but, I don't really focus on black belts or anything like that because all of that changes in the cage. I train with black belts, and it's a lot different when you're doing jiu-jitsu on jiu-jitsu, but this isn't a jiu-jitsu match. So I'm not really concerned about those kinds of things. I'm fully aware that this is a step up in competition. It's exactly what I've been looking for, branching out from the NFC and getting on the big stage and I can't complain. I'm getting a title shot off of a layoff, I mean, that's almost unheard of unless you're GSP. So I'm super blessed. I'm super excited to fight this guy. He looks tough. Looks like he could take a punch. So it'll be interesting to see how things turn out.
Yeah, you know, lots of guys can take a punch, but can he take a knee or a shin to the chin? That's what I'm wondering.
Hey, I mean, we're gonna find out because, as you know, I'm not one dimensional. So we'll find out November.
Yes, sir. So, you know, the reason that you became such a big fan favorite here in the Georgia area is because Chazz Walton comes to fight. You know, there's no Chazz Walton fight where you're humping someone's leg and the whole crowd goes to sleep, you know, everyone's booing. That's never happened in a Chazz Walton fight before. So, can we just expect at the start of the bell for you to just come right at him like you've been doing in all your other fights?
I mean, I don't even know what to expect, bro. I go in there and I just react. I just trust my instincts to the fullest and listen to my coaches and so, you know, I can't tell you what's going to happen when that bell sounds off, but as you've seen, you know, the proof's in the pudding. You see how I fight. I bring it, you know, so you can definitely expect that.
Now, I really don't like to ask these kind of questions, but I kind of have to. The fans really want me to, and I want to talk about the implications of this fight, man, because look, a fight's still a fight no matter what, but this is basically like your chance. You win this fight, you're getting that call. That's the bottom line. I mean, is it hard kind of putting that on the back burner and just focusing on, look, I got to be in the best version of myself?
You know, I honestly don't focus too much on that kind of stuff because, you know, I'm a man of faith and I have faith that, and I trust God's timing with everything. So, you know, he's already decided who's going to win this fight and what's going to happen after this fight. And my only job is to go out there and do my best and glorify his name in victory or defeat, although it will be in victory. But that's it.
Does that kind of belief, does that kind of make you feel free when you're in there, knowing that, you know, in your mind it's all pre-planned already?
Absolutely. I know that as long as I give it my all, that's really all that matters, and everything else is already decided. You know, so yeah, it does definitely give you a little bit of freedom to just go and fight. I notice a lot of people put too much pressure on themselves, and I do put pressure on myself. That's how I've gotten where I am, but I put realistic pressure on myself, and I try to keep things in perspective, like I said. And yeah, you know, I have faith in whatever it turns out.
So, Chazz, you know I can't let you leave without a couple fight predictions. I mean, this is half the battle, and GSP is taking on Bisping. Look, GSP's been out for about 4 years. He's taking on the champ Bisping. You think he can, look, you say you don't believe in ring rust, but that's only from 1 year. This is 4 years. What do you think about this fight, man?
All right, well, the first thing that, you know, ring rust is one thing to talk about, but GSP is going up a weight class against a very, very big 185er. I think that's what really is going to be the biggest factor, is that it's not going to be as easy to take Bisping down or get inside on Bisping to take him down because of his range and size. So it'll be interesting because, you know, in the striking department, I would honestly give it to Bisping. So we'll see. I think I see Bisping winning that fight. You know, I want to see GSP come back and win, but I don't feel like him coming back at 185 is going to work in his favor.
Makes sense. So, in your weight class, it hasn't officially been announced, but I think we all kind of know that Conor McGregor is fighting Tony Ferguson. So, if those two indeed meet, who do you think is going to walk away the number one lightweight on planet Earth?
El Kukui, bro. Me and him are like such similar styles, very similar size. I'd actually really like to fight him one day. I think that's going to happen. But I got Ferguson on that. He's got the range. He's got better striking. He's got great jiu-jitsu. And he's just got great tenacity. He's not gonna fall for the hype. You know, some people kind of give in to the hype of their opponent, but hype means nothing. Because how many times have you seen a really good guy go in there and just wasn't his night, you know?
Many, many times. Well, Chazz, it's going down November 17th. UFC Fight Pass, you versus Roush Manfio for the Titan FC Lightweight Championship. Look, I know you'll take a win by any means necessary, but if it were up to you, how would this fight go down, Chazz?
A knockout in the first 45 seconds.
Well, that's what the fans like to hear. Chazz, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me right here, right now on Half the Battle. It's awesome to talk to you a year later. So many blessings in your life. Now you get this huge opportunity. Let the fans know where they can follow you on social media and any message for them. Go ahead.
The Hybrid 89 on Twitter. You can follow me on there. I'm posting all my fight stuff, and just look for me on Instagram. Just search Chazz Walton. I keep everybody updated on my training, my camp, and family life too.